There's something that, like, the way that I look at it. So even if you guys are like, oh, I remember how slope works, I just want you to listen as we talk today, because it just may be a different way for you to look at it, and it might help. Okay, so we are going to talk about these 3 types of slope, or 4 types of slope really. Positive, negative, when slope is 0, and when slope is undefined. And the way I like to look at it, this is also the formula, and we'll refer back to this in a little bit. I like to look at it as, so we put Bob here on this line, and we think of it as Bob being on this line, and Bob has a disease. And Bob has to always walk to the right. And that is just how Bob is. So Bob always has to walk to the right. And when he's walking to the right, if he is walking up, then it's going to be a positive slope. All right? Up is a positive slope. You don't have to highlight. You can circle it if you want. When Bob is on the line here and he's walking down, it is going to be a negative slope. All right? So the ones in the warm-up that we looked at, the positive was going up, the negative Bob was going down. And that's super helpful because the positive and negative slopes are honestly across the board. That's the main thing that gets missed. All right? Horizontal slopes, Bob is walking to the right, and there is no change. He's not going up or down, so the slope is going to be 0. So if it's exactly horizontal, the slope is 0. And then for this last one, you're going to put Bob on the line here, and then Bob walks to the right, and oh goodness, he dies. His life is now undefined because he has walked off that line, and he's a goner. So I really think that the 0 slope and the undefined slope get mixed up a lot. So just make sure that you can see that. You see the difference between it. If it's a horizontal line, slope is 0. If it's a vertical line, Bob falls off, and the slope is undefined. Okay? So let's look at this right here. And this one's actually didn't print very well. It's kind of hard to see. But we're going to do this like you are expected to do it on the Delta Math. So right here we're going to start, and I'm just going to choose to start here. You kind of have to pick a spot where it is actually at a point. So this is at 0, 3. And then we're going to go down 2. So it's going to be negative 2. And also, Bob is on this line, and Bob's walking down. So this slope is going to just be negative. That just is what it is. And then you go over 1. So this is actually the same picture that was on our warm-up. I mean, it's a different picture, but the same slope. So it's down 2, over 1. So our slope is going to be negative 2. So basically what it means is like for every 1 over it goes to the right, it goes down 2. Down 2, over 1. Down 2, over 1. All the way around. All right, let's go to this next one. This one is very hard to see. It did not print well. I honestly don't know if we can do this one. We might have to skip this one because I cannot see the line. So we're going to skip it. This one? We're going to skip it. I can't see the lines. I don't know. I don't know the answer. Because I can't see them. Like, when I sent them off to be printed, you could see the graph. You cannot see it. Yes. What? It's going down, down 1 over 2. Yeah, that probably is right, actually. I think it is negative 1/2. I just am having a hard time to see if it's actually going over 7 or if it's going... Okay. So probably, I think it is negative 1/2. I think you're right. I just can't really see it. Don't worry, on the Delta Math, it's a lot easier to see. But thank you. All right. We're going to look at this, and we're going to do this a couple ways. Here's our formula. I'm going to write it right here. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You can put this whole thing in the calculator, but essentially what it is, it's the difference between, you can. I would prefer for you to, like, know how to do it, but, yeah. So, it's not hard to do this. But I want you to think of it as, like, the difference between the y's, the difference between the x's. So, from 6 to 9, like, how far away is that? This is just a different way to think about it. From 6 to 9, what's the change? You're adding 3 to it, right? From 5 to 7, it's plus 2. So, like, the difference is going to be 3/2 here. What? Yeah, but I think you'll answer it in fraction form. Why are you what? Okay. To do this is to label it x1, y1, x2, y2, and you can put this entire thing in the calculator. So, like, alpha, do you guys know how to get to the fraction in the calculator? Yeah. The alpha y equals inner, it will get you to the fraction. So 9 minus 6, and because that's my y2 is 9. 9 minus 6 over 7 minus 5. So the difference between the x's and the y's, 7 minus 5. And it gives you the same answer right there, 3/2. And the nice thing is the calculator also simplifies the fraction for you. Like, it does it automatically. So like, for this one, x1, y1, x2, y2, -3 minus -7, -4 minus 0. So the -4 minus 0 isn't going to change at all. But alpha y equals inner, -3 minus -7. Oh gosh. -3 minus -7 over -4. You can do -4 minus 0, but you don't need to. And you should end up with -1. Okay, this one right here, there's no different. Notice how the x's are the same. You'll see that? The x's are the same. So they're going to end up canceling out. They're going to be 0. -3 minus -3 is 0. So you're going to have a number on top. You're going to have 0 on the bottom. So -8 minus 2, -3 minus -3. Anytime you have 0 on the bottom, a number divided by 0... Well, no, it doesn't. You can't divide anything by 0. -10 divided by 0. Error. So, remember how we talked about Bob and he falls off the vertical line? That's undefined. His life is undefined. So, anytime your x's are the same, you could just write undefined and you're done. Undefined when the x's are the same. All right, -10 divided by 0. All right, now the y's are the same. So what's the only one we haven't talked about yet? Up here. Perfect. Horizontal slope is 0. So when the y's are 0, 6 minus 6, 7 minus 5, so it's 0 over 2. 0 divided by any number is 0. So, like, use your calculator to help you. Zero divided by any number is 0. -10 divided by 0 is undefined. I probably should write it over here, too. And that's it. So there's just 4 types. This is a positive, negative, an undefined, and a 0 slope.